Director Mary Harron visited the 29th edition of the Stockholm International Film Festival to present her film Charlie Says and to pick up the Lifetime Achievement Award, which recognizes her prolific career and contributions to the world of cinema. Your Little City didn't miss the chance to talk to her on the red carpet and to be present at the award ceremony and a face-to-face with the Swedish public.
Well, you're going to receive the Stockholm Lifetime Achievement Award.
Yes.
You know, now looking back at everything you've done, your films and recognition, how do you feel?
It's wonderful to get to be recognized for a lifetime achievement. I feel I haven't done really enough to deserve it, but it's a great honor, and it's nice to look back because my first film was here in '96. And I love this festival. It's always very nice to be honored.
Yeah, and now you're going to present Charlie Says to the Swedish audience.
Yes. So I hope they like it. And I have a Swedish cinematographer who's there, Krilla Forsberg.
Yeah.
So I have Krilla. So this is the cinematographer. This is Krilla, who's the great Swedish cinematographer who did Charlie Says.
Yeah.
Oh.
Really great
Now you're bringing the film to the Swedish audience.
Yes.
Yeah.
Your expectations are...
Yes. Well, I hope they like it. What can we say? But we're excited
to share.
Yeah, to share.
And you just said that you just feel that you haven't yet achieved enough.
Well, I guess because I feel like I hope I have another 20 years of directing, and maybe I'll come back in 20 years' time.
Yeah. Is that an achievement in your life yet to accomplish?
Yes. No, I just think you're always thinking about the next film and what you still have to do, and But it's a great honor, and I'm very, very thankful.
Yeah. Congratulations, Mary.
Thank you.
After premiering her latest film, Charlie Says, Mary Harron sat down to talk about the film at a face-to-face.
How did you approach the story when you decided to do this movie?
I mean, I've been talking to Guinevere Turner, the screenwriter,
That you collaborated with several times.
yes, on American Psycho and on Notorious Betty Page, and we just showed each other our scripts that we're working on, and she had shown me an early draft, and when I go to Los Angeles, I was in a meet up with her, and we were just talking. I said, "Oh, well, if it comes up, I would be interested in directing it." I grew up in the '60s and '70s, so this story is part of my formative years. Anybody who was young in that point, child or teenager, will be very marked by that story. And also, I was very fascinated by how women were treated in the '60s, in hippie culture too. Because I do remember, even as a young teenager, being aware that it was, or certainly feeling the impact of what was essentially a very patriarchal culture. And so I always felt like I had something to say or something to express about it. And I've always been very interested in the dynamic of cults, and in this case of a '60s cult, which is kind of idealism or
and it
gone
really
wrong.
starts out, it's so
Paradise
nice,
Gone.
and then it just...
Put the piggy in the chair. Who's the piggy?
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 Kill the piggy!
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 Now imagine we just yanked this piggy out of his car. I want you to look at him, and I want you to stare at him, and I want you to scare him to death. Now we could tie him up, and we could scare the piggy into willing us all of his money. We could kill his family in front of him, but I need you to give this gift to me. Or are you willing to die for me, Tex? Or are you willing to let me kill you?
Yeah, Charlie. Charlie, you can kill me. You can kill me. I'm ready. I'm ready.
Every book you read by any member of the Manson family, it was all about love. He seemed like a benign Jesus figure or father figure to them, who was giving them permission to have sex and take drugs and be free. And they felt like what they were escaping was their parents and straight society. And sadly, what they escaped straight into something so much more nightmarish in the end. So it's a story. It's the whole story of this the dark side of the 60s.
As a music journalist, Mary Harron was very active in the punk scene in the New York of the 70s, a cultural movement that later influenced her filmmaking.
The biggest influence I think punk had on me was, and the biggest inspiration was that it was this do-it-yourself, that you didn't have to be trained to do something, and I never went to film school or really had any formal training, and that what really mattered was what you had to say. And that if you couldn't get anybody to finance you, then you should just do it yourself. And I think there was a sort of DIY aesthetic in the early years of New York independent film.
The first feature you made was like Shot Andy Warhol. How did that come about? How did you get into filmmaking? As you said, you don't have formal film school training.
No, but I was a journalist, and I had moved back to London where I'd spent my teenage years, and coincidentally, while I was working in British television, as a researcher, I was given the job of researching a documentary about Warhol, and that's when I started to discover and get interested in who was Valerie Solanas.
You want to kill all the men in the world?
No, I don't think that would be necessary. You know, Andy, I really think you ought to produce a play. You know, have you finished it yet?
It's way too disgusting, even for us.
So what does it have to take to get me on TV, huh?
If anyone can make you a star, Andy can.
I mean, you make something out of nothing, Andy.
What makes you think Andy Warhol, the greatest living artist of our time, wants to publish the ravings of a lunatic?
On my way to a date with destiny. I shot Andy Warhol. Yeah, I had to. Yeah, he had too much control over my life.
And after that movie, you were kind of seen as a feminist filmmaker, and then you made American Psycho, and then everyone said you were a misogynist.
Yes, although of course, you know, I always thought American Psycho was a great critique of male culture, really. And I think that that's in the book. It's not just me imposing that. I think it's a satire on all of that.
Do you know what Ed Gein said about women?
What did Ed say?
He said, when I see a pretty girl walking down the street, I think two things. One part of me wants to take her out, talk to her, be real nice and sweet and treat her right.
And what the other part of him think?
What her head would look like on a stick.
I felt in both American Psycho and in Charlie Says that there shouldn't be a lot of violence, but when there was violence, it should go on for a long time. You know, it should be very intense and kind of immersive. And I think in Charlie Says, the violence is scary because it's real time. It's done in real time. And actually, the final sequence of American Psycho, the violence scene, also feels like real time. So if you feel like you're really there and it's really happening, then it will be very disturbing.
You still have a lot of filmmaking years in front of you, but you are here to receive a Lifetime Achievement Award, and I don't know if you've kind of taken the opportunity to a little bit stop and reflect back on your career, maybe not because of this, but if I would ask you to do that, do you see some common thread, some theme that you apparently keep coming back to, something you want to, like a question that keeps nagging you that you want to explore in your films?
I know that certain things keep coming up and it's not deliberate. Like so many of my films involve someone who's mentally ill, you know. I don't know why, I don't think I can, you know, and it also involves people who are outsiders. And certainly I moved around a lot as a child, so I was an outsider because we changed countries quite a bit in schools. So I think that the outsider thing comes naturally to me.
And of course, Mary Harron will keep on bringing amazing stories to life. She even gave us a scoop on what her next project is going to be about.
I'm supposed to film a script I wrote with my husband, John Walsh, that is about the last about the last years of Salvador Dalí.
Oh, wow.
And his wife Gala. And so it's sort of a portrait of a marriage, among other things.
Wow, we're looking forward to seeing that. Hope you're coming with
Yes,
that.
Director of the Stockholm Film Festival, Guy Schenius, had the honor to present Mary with the Stockholm Lifetime Achievement Award.
Good evening. The 2018 Stockholm Lifetime Achievement Award is presented to a director with a distinct eye and a brilliant touch for depicting controversial personality on screen. Mary Harron has taken a lot of risks and brought audience to darkest corner of the human psyche. She has portrayed some of the our time's most notorious characters, from Valerie Solanas to Charles Manson and Patrick Bateson. And Mary Harron visited Stockholm International Film Festival in 1996 with her celebrated I Shot Andy Warhol. We were very impressed then, and now, 23 productions later, we have the big pleasure to welcome her back and celebrate her career. And to doing this, we have giving out the bronze swords. Thank you very much.
Not only beautiful, but an effective weapon if someone breaks into my apartment. Thank you, it's lovely, and this is a huge honor from a festival that I really love, that as you say, I came here with my first film, and also because Sweden has such a wonderful and brilliant tradition of directors, actors, cinematographers, and films that I love. So thank you for letting me be part of this.